Okay, so it will take a while, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to start. And meanwhile, what we'll do is we'll start creating a notebook. Okay, so before that, what I will do is I'll create some more tabs out of it. So let's say in one tab, we'll right click on this and open in new tab. So we'll open our catalog. Yeah, so it's loading our catalogs. And we have three catalogs here. One is system, and this one we created manually, and this one is the default one. So when we have the workspace created, we get a default catalog created. Same as the workspace name. So if we go to our Azure account, you'll see the same workspace name. So this is our default catalog. Still our computer resource is starting. Okay. So here what we'll do is I think we should have some tables here. We have one table here called organizations 1000. This is like sample data. Also, we have, catalog in two categories or three categories basically. So this is the legacy one, but here in the shared one, this is shared among all the users. So all the users will have access to this, and my organization catalogs are having the access to our user who is logged in right now. And shared one, we will have to start the SQL warehouse. So let the compute resource started. We are just waiting compute resource to start, and then we can either go to compute, go to SQL warehouses, and start our SQL warehouse. It will allow us to run the SQL commands. Okay, so I think it may take maybe a 2 minute or two more to start with. Meanwhile, we'll explore our catalog. So in catalog, we have tables, we have volumes. Volumes are basically uploaded files, CSV files, or any file which we can keep as a volume. Tables are one which are having the data delta table format. So these are like tables here, and these the volumes which are like files which are uploaded. Okay, so let's go and open the workspace in new tab. One more tab will open, and maybe we'll arrange it on top of this. And we are on the home page of our workspace where we can create the notebooks. Okay, so we have some notebook here in workspace. We have, shared workspace, which is like this is the shared one. We may have folders in it, so we can, create multiple folders. And if we are going to home, this is our personal workspace, which is not being shared with the other members. Okay, if we go to create button here, we can create a notebook from here. So in notebook, we have cell and we can provide the name of notebook. Let's say demo, for example, I believe today is test 29 October or something like this. So anything we can provide like naming of this one. Okay, so this is the default language of our notebook. So by default, it will keep the sales language like this, but still we can change our language by just typing the percentage sign. So if I type percentage, And if I type SQL, it will change the language of this cell to SQL. And let's say if I create a new cell, and the default language would be the Python one. Okay, so multiple languages we can use in the same notebook, but default language of the notebook will create when we create the cell will be selected. Okay, let me go through one thing. Just give me a moment. So, okay, so we are going to talk about table today. So how we can basically create a table or query a table. Okay, so just give me a moment. I'll just bring in right. Okay, if we need to create a table, we can create it using the SQL as well. So here the table is basically the resource which is here. So let's say in the default, default schema, you have one table created. We can create another table as well. Okay, so let's go to our notebook. In notebook, we can say by default, it is anyways going to use the same schema, but we can mention use. So this is like SQL command, catalog, and then we can mention the name of catalog here. So it should be, I believe, what was the name? DBWS. DBWS. Okay. So this will use the catalog. So we can change the catalog, which catalogs. Catalog is like database. The same way it is like, we have databases and we use in SQL the same command to basically choose the database or use database name, and then it start using that database to query and work with. Okay, and next command is like, for example, if we would like to uh, create a table, so we will have to tell about the creation of table. Maybe we can create in next, cell as well, or the same one as well we can create. So create table, and then we can say if not exist, it's gonna have, or maybe it will take in the next, just why it is having red, could not find create. All right, so no problem, it should work, I think. Or in case if my SQL warehouse is not working, it may have issue. So finally my, cluster is working, means compute power is working. Now I need to start my SQL warehouse. This could be the reason, because this is stopped right now and it will not work with the SQL commands. Create table, and I would say if not exists, then I would say default dot, basically I'm using this one and it is having a default schema, and I would say, let's say department or something like this, so name of table. And then like same in SQL, we do the brackets and we provide the name of column. So let's say if we have name department code is integer, we would like to keep an department name, for example, as string we would like to keep. So something like some columns we can create in the table while we are creating the table. So location string. Okay. Now, for example, let's try this. If there is any error, it will give us the automatic compute resource connect success. Okay. So it has connected with our cluster, which is the default cluster. Here we can change the name, check the name is already here. and it is providing an error. And what the error is? Syntax error at near create semicolon maybe assistant quick fix on. So we can accept this, and basically these two statements are separated by the semicolon. So now it is running. Right now the command is under execution. Okay, so this was successful, means your table is created. So with the name of department, we can verify this. We can go to our, resources here or catalog. Under catalog, we can see the tables. So I think we will have to refresh from here. And now you can see your table is created with the given columns. And AI suggestion is coming in. So these are like columns created, and you can provide the comment and text from here. So anything, for example, you want to mention here, so it's there. All right. Is a acid layer, or for the table. So now it is showing the notification to start it. So here you can see that all the tables which are being maintained on Databricks are going to become delta table, which is like additional layer on the storage. So when we have CSV files or anything we are querying, it can have the acid property, which is like with the structured data we do have. Okay, so next, let's say if we would like to add some rows here or something, or insert some rows, we can do that as well, like we do in the SQL. So let's say if we run this command in here, we can say that we want to change the language to SQL, and we can run an insert into command. So insert into. And for example, we can provide that, okay, because our schema, we want to default schema, and now we can have the table and values. We can put the values, and this is like, it executed by, mistake. We hit enter here. So hit enter, and we will have bracket here, and we'll provide, let's say the first column was, I think, the integer, and then string, and then string. So integer, let's say we put 10, for example, and then in the quotation mark, we can put, let's say, department name, which is the finance, for example. And then separating from comma, we can say location, let's say anything like Mumbai. So it will add one row of this data. So this is how we can add the data. Another same one we can add, maybe we can copy this. And let's say if we putting here 11, and we are saying, okay, it's about sales. And if we're putting it here, let's say Chennai. So something like this, we can add rows into the table. Okay, so if we execute this, should work. And the requirement to run the SQL queries which we are, running here is, so it has, affected two rows and inserted two rows. So we should have, in compute, we should have our compute running, and our SQL warehouse should be running. So these both, if these both are running, it means it will allow you to, fire these commands, okay, on the notebook. Otherwise, it will give you some kind of errors where you will have to work on. Okay, so this is how we will be able to, create a table, insert these, some data into it. Okay, and let's say if we would like to drop also, we can drop this, table. So this is like, we can work with the SQL commands. I hope you guys are familiar with SQL, or would you like to explore more on the SQL commands? I'm not sure about that background, so if you can maybe, but yeah, all right. I'll cover with the commands which are like relevant to the workspace, so it will make more sense for you. So this is how basically we can create a table, and like even like we inserted the, this one, so we can select the data as well from here. So let's say in next cell, if I say uh, there is select command, or I will have to change the language first, because my default language I kept is the Python. But if in case if you are working, maybe you will select your, language from here once, and it will always keep. But I'm just giving you the example where how you can switch between the languages in the same node. Okay, so let's say if we would like to select the data from here, so it's so sometime it doesn't work because maybe you may have different schema on the default one, so you may have issue as well. Okay, so we are able to fetch the records which we are having. So how basically we'll provide fully qualified name is that first of all we put the catalog name here. So db, what was the name, yeah, dbws9, and we'll hit the tape command, and then whatever the schema we are using, so we are using default here, and then the department. So this is like fully the address of the table is going to have, and basically this will fetch the same result. Okay, all right, so let me create one more, maybe another notebook. So let's go here and let's go to workspace. Now you can see I have some notebooks created. I can create another one, and let's say if I'm putting here the SQL as my language, so it will automatically be turning when I create the cell, it will have the SQL language selected. Okay, so this is my first cell. And for example, if we would like to query any table which is already there. So for example, let's go to our schema. Here we can see we have some tables in default schema. Same way, we have another catalog created, but we don't have any data here. So we just understood how we can create the catalog. And if we go to shared one, we have some sample data as well. So I believe we have some data. Yeah. So here in this schema, TPCH, we have some sample data. So you can see customer, maybe line item, nation, order. So these are like tables as we have in the database. We do have the tables. Same way these are arranged. The shared schema is basically shared between all the members who are using the Databricks account. So it will be visible to everyone. But the data or the schemas or catalogs which are mentioned here are, personal to the user who is logged in the account. Okay. So these are not the shared one. These are like shared one. Okay. Now let's go and query one of these tables. So I think we'll go with the customer, maybe tpch and samples. So samples dot tpch dot customer. So let's go to this notebook and we'll keep the name this exact same, no issues. So let's say if we want to query this, select star from what was the schema name? Sorry, what was the catalog? So samples, right? So I'll go to samples. Okay, samples dot, then we have tpch, I think. tpch, and then it should, why I'm not bringing tpch. So we are samples, tpch, and customer we should have. So customer, let's fire it. So it should give us the result. Now you can see it is connected to a resource. So maybe we can mention it here. So it will not, giving this pop-up here. Now you can see it fetch all the records in this table. I think how many records, I'm not sure. 10,000 rows plus. It was able to fetch in 9.95 seconds. Okay. So it's very quick, to fetch this number of data in only 9 seconds. Because we are using, minimum power, which is available in the compute. So that is only we are using the resource, which is maybe around, I think 14 GB of RAM and 4 cores of CPU. Okay. And how many number of notebooks are running on this. So it will show you here the configuration, that how many notebooks, are being, are using this cluster basically. Okay, so you can limit this, maybe limit it by 100, for example. So there is limit command. You can just put the number. So it will fetch the, maybe, in some cases you may have, let's say 1 million rows or something like this. In that case, it's not good idea to, bring all the, data all together at once. Maybe you can, prototype it with some. So here you can see it took almost 2.88 seconds, and it was able to bring this many of rows. Okay, now let's say, for example, if we would like to, group it, or some functions we would like to use. So SQL commands will work with this, which generally we are using, like select statement and all those. So it will be easily working with this. So let me see what command we can trigger here. So I think I have. Just give me a moment. I'll find out some syntax. Okay, so here, for example, we are bringing all the columns. We may pass some name of columns. So here we have these names written, like CNAME, address, or maybe I'll just bring in 10 rows, so it will show you all. Okay, so here you can see we are getting these columns. These are the columns like comment, marketing segment, okay, and actual, balance, something like this, phone number, national key, address, CNAME. So these are the columns we are getting from here. Okay, so what we can do is maybe we can club it together by CNAME, for example. So let's say we want to bring in CNAME, C underscore name. This is one of the column. And then we want to bring in the, for example, national key, C, it came and it went. Okay, national key. And I hope CNAME is the correct one. So, okay. Next is, for example, we want to bring in the account balance or marketing segment, for example. Let's bring in the marketing segment. So C underscore marketing segment. So we are bringing different columns from here. And one more column, maybe we can bring in like CACCT balance. So account balance, it should be CACCT balance. Okay. So like we can select some columns and bring in or fetch it in this query. So same we do in the SQL, nothing different from the SQL. The exact same commands and almost same, identical. Now let's say if we would like to group them together, mm, we would like to visualize in group or something, or perform some count operation or something. So we should be able to do this. If we let's say if we go here and type count, so this is like count function. So we want to count the number of customers here, and let's say we will group it by for example market segment or something like this. And then let's say if we want to perform sum of account balance. Okay, so we are counting, we are summing it up, and we have two, so we'll remove one from here, so at least we can group it by this one. So group by, and see, I think it will work before this. So group by, and then we'll say C market segment. And then the limit will limit it to 10 rows, or maybe we can make it 100, or even we can remove it. So little bit to make faster, maybe we can limit, because 10,000 rows are huge here. So I'll just limit it to 100, and we can fire it. So it should give us the result. So this will do this one. So then we can maybe, give them the alias or column name. So as for example, I want it written as customer name. So I think it will take in the bracket. No, it won't take in the bracket, like transact SQL I am familiar with. So it will take with the underscore. Okay. So we can format little bit. Let's say if we want to have market segment written as MKT segment. So we can write it like this, and is total balance, something like this. Now we can run this query. So it will give us the formatted names here. Okay, so this is how it's going to, format. And also we can use like some commands like distinct, where clause, and all those things, having clause, and all those things. So we may use this query in, to fetch the data and present in different ways. Okay, so this is like SQL query. And let's say now if we would like to see something on top of this. So right now it is like data which we can, so you will say that, okay, this anyways we can do the same, uh, like querying data in the SQL database. So why do we need here? Right. So here we can basically add these to the charts. So how we can add the chart to this one? So I'll just make it simplified one again, or maybe we can go to another, but yeah, it's better to simplify this. All right, so what I'll do, I'll minimize this and I'll open another one. So that would be easy. Select star from the customer name, right? So it was where it was. Okay, so right, it was in the sample. So I'll just take it from here. Okay, so we'll fire the full query, but we'll limit it to 100. Limit to 100. Okay, now what we can do here is you see there is little plus sign here. So here we are, able to view this table. And here we can add some visualization. So if I go to visualization, it will give me visualization editor. And here I will see that we can select some columns. So let's say on x-axis, I would use, for example, market segment. So we have these market segments. So it's creating graph for us, or chart, you can say. And then I can add the Y column where maybe I can, create, for example, let's say, with the amount I would like to play around. So where is our amount? Account balance. So account balance, and we would like to sum this up. So in Y, it will have like market segment and summed it up, So this is like values we are getting here. Okay, if we would like to, let's say, group it by something. So let's say if we want to group it by national key, so it will group it by these national keys, or we can relate it to the another table, and we can bring in the names from there. So this is how we can do. So it's really very easy to work with, visualization. You may choose, let's say, line chart, for example. Maybe you can choose like pie chart. So it will give you that how much market or sum of the, or the percentage of this all, so market segment is there. So this is how you can create your visualization. You can save your visualization here. So what will happen that you have table open here one end, and another end you have a visualization open. So, and you can rename it, let's say, market share or something. Okay, so something like this, you can give the name, and another plus you can add another visualization. Okay, so let's say you want to add it by country or something. So let's say if I go here and say market segment, and this time I would like to count the customers. So customer keys, I don't want to sum them up, I want to count them. So like this, I can count all the customer, or I can count the distinct one. Okay, so it will count the distinct customers. And so I can keep the bar chart. Maybe I can change it to heat map or something like this I can do. So I can change the scattered one. Okay, so any chart I can use which I believe is good to show my data in correct way. So I can choose some of these charts. So bar will show like this. I think bar is okay for this. So these are different visualizations we can add. I am limiting here with this data, otherwise it will give all the names here. Maybe, so this is like, we can give the name here that clients, CLIENT, clients by what do you call, market share MS. So like you can add visualizations, and it will bring in some meaning. So in one notebook you can have one cell. In one cell you can have a query, and in query you can fetch the data and create your visualizations. So here this is the advantage, that you can have visualizations in the query, and also you can associate multiple visualizations in the same notebook, same cell. And each time you can run this, and it will give you the chart or updated chart whenever you run whatever the data is fetching. Let's say in schema, if your table is updated, so it will automatically be fetching the updated information. Okay, so this is about chart, and let's see one more thing I just wanted to share with you. I think creation we have seen. Yeah, if you have any question, any doubt, so far we have covered. So anything you would like to ask, maybe we can, take it while, because continuously we are going. So maybe some of you are not, familiar with SQL or, so any queries, any question. So this is how we can basically create or, notebook. And feel free to ask the question anytime while I'm, going through. Yeah.
Kamal, one question.
Yes,
So,
please.
so in this case, right, what you are giving one example on one table,
Yep.
so we can execute like we can join with 10 tables or 15 tables. We can write a query that
Yeah.
on that result we can do these charts and everything, the
Exactly.
visualization. Oh,
Exactly.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a question on deployment, but I'll ask later, not now.
Yeah.
How,
So
how we
as
are going
we,
to, because
Mhm. Yes, continue, please.
how we are going to deploy and all these things, because usually, right, we used to develop usual in
Mhm.
on prem, right, we
Mhm.
develop the report in dev environment, and
Mhm.
then that will be migrated to prod. But now
Mhm.
what you are showing here, like we can
Mhm.
then and there execute the query and see the results on
Right.
the notebook itself.
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
how the deployment and all will
Right.
happen.
See, so basically, this is like playground where you can, play around with the notebook. So when we talk about here in the workspace that we have workspace, so let's say you are, experimenting with this and you don't want your maybe colleagues to see, while you are, just it's like a development one, right? So
Mhm.
one way is that what you can do is you can create in the workspace your own folder. So let's say here we created the client, right? So same one you can create your development, notebooks you can keep in one place, one folder, and it's like shared with everyone. Okay. Another way is that let's say your colleagues are also working on some notebooks and they are also, let's say someone is working on marketing data, someone is working on maybe operational data or something like this. So you can work on your workspace. So when you are on home, basically these notebooks are not being shared. So this is like my experimental notebooks. And once this notebook, I think it's let's say it's ready for evaluation or it's ready for production. I can simply drag and drop into this. So from here I will simply go here and drag and drop in whatever wherever I want in the share, and it will go there. Okay. So let's say if I just say okay, let it bring it here, so now it is available in that particular folder. So I
Got it.
think I Okay. So basically these are like files we are working in, in our directory. So nothing much. And uh, these notebooks you can, share with anyone on these folders. Okay. And you can create multiple folders. So you see notebook appears here. And while you are working, because everyone is working, it's like pilot testing you are doing. So you will be working on your own place, means your this is home is only visible to you. Only this workspace is visible to others except the users one. User one is the workspace which is visible to that person who is, that logged in. So I logged in from my account, so it is visible to me. The another user who is working on maybe the same stuff or different stuff, his notebooks are here. So this is how you can share all this or work with this. So let me go back here. Okay. So this is like simplistic, very simple way. I just wanted to explain you about the chart and all those things. That's why it's like a very easy one. And once you have, let's say, a little bit more complex scenario, yes, you can have multiple tables. So we'll go through that as well. Uh, we'll do the joins and we'll, create some visualization around them. So little bit more complex, scenario will be creating. Okay, now I just want to explore one more thing here. So I think we were working on one data set or first table we were working on, and we left it in the last session, I remember. So I'll just go there. Yeah, so loading and transforming the data using Apache Spark we were working on, and I think we didn't complete this fully. So We understood about creating data frames, so we'll continue from there. So that example we'll just finish today. So at least we'll have more understanding. So I think I'll create one. Let's see. If I go to users, I have my home folder, and in home folder, I can create, let's say, one more notebooks. And here I'll keep the default language to Python because we will be using the Apache Spark. Okay, so I'll simply just make some space. So I'll copy this to save some time. So we can simply put here, like we can create variable and put it here. So like name of catalog, like SQL statement. The one thing is that statement is like one statement you can work with. Like variables and all those things are a little bit tedious to maintain. But in Python, this is we can maintain this. And last time I think we bring in this data, so we'll check if this data is available with us. So let's go to our catalog. And I think we were working with the catalog which was here. So this is our default catalog. So if you are not mentioning the catalog name, it is going here. I think which one? Yeah. So we have one volume created here. And volume is like location to keep your CSV files or bring in your CSV files. So we have some CSV file here you can see in this volume. I'll simply maybe I can keep it. So this data we were able to bring online. So again we'll go through this, and I think we just bring in the data, but we didn't work with the data. And your SQL, this you have to keep eye, so it keeps stopping sometime, If you are not using it maybe for 10 minutes or so, it's going to stop. So I think I will have to increase the time. Okay, this one looks like working. Okay, this one is working. I'm not sure about this. Let's see. Yeah, so this looks like has stopped or stopping. What's the starting? Okay. So let's see. Sometime it will give you the false information as well. So I mean, on production, you will have more resource, but when you are doing the lay with the personal resources, you may struggle with this because this is very small one, tiny one. So it's going to take a little time. All right, so we'll continue with this, and we have catalog name, and then we'll provide the volume name, schema name, where we want to keep, and we want to bring our data from here. Okay, so this is like open data which is available on this CSV file on over the internet. We can bring in the data from outside, and then we'll create a table with the table name, and that is going to be into this volume. Okay, and you can see that schema and these variables we are basically calling here and putting it here. Okay, so let's see. In the catalog, we have one rows. I think we have bring in last time, but again we'll do because maybe it was for very fast for you guys. So uh, we have dbws underscore 9, the dbws underscore 9. This is our catalog name. Okay, from here we can see. And then schema, I think we can keep it default. We'll check it, DEFAULT. And the volume name was volume 1. And this is our download URL, so we don't have to touch it. And the file name is rows.csv. And then the table which we would like to create out of it is going to be, let's say, rows 1.csv. Okay. Or I think the table name is going to be in different. Let me double check here. Yeah, it should not be, so I'll just simply mention it table 2, for example. And then this is going to be the path of this, okay? And then the catalog schema and the path of table, path of volume, okay? So let's run this and see what happens. So if we have error also, it's okay. So see, my computer resource is stopped. So it may take time. That's the problem here. Maybe I will have to increase the time here for computer resource to stop. Otherwise, it will keep stopping. And our computer resource, I think, let's go to computer resource while it's starting. We can simply click on this. So I keep here 10 minutes. So I think I will increase it to 30 minutes. But since it's starting, it will not allow me to change. So whenever, my computer resource is, being not used for 30 minutes, it will wait for 30 minutes and then go for shutdown. So I think last query we fired and it took, it almost, uh, we spent maybe 10 minutes or more. So it stopped. So here you will need to increase the time. Okay. Okay, finally it looks like it started and I should be able to, still I am not able to, or I will have to go here and edit basically. Okay, so I'll make it maybe 20 minutes should be reasonable or 30 minutes. It's better to keep 30 minutes to be safe side. Sometime we are, so if I confirm, I will have to start. So I will stop it. No need to change right now. Whenever I'm available, I'll change it. So, okay, so let's trigger it and it is triggered. So let's see what has happened here. So we should have something in the volume 1 and we should have in the default schema something. So like these both are the path and we'll go to our catalog and we'll refresh it. So if we to go to volume 1, or I think I'll have to reload maybe. So it will reload my schema, volume, everything. And looks like it didn't come. Okay. So let's see. Wow. Still, it didn't come here because, yeah, we didn't fire the actually command. We just fire the command and declare the variable and it has given the path. But we didn't actually perform any task on this or we didn't actually created this, right? So next is like we define the variable here, but we didn't say that, okay, we want to do something with this. Here next is what we'll do is we'll copy and paste the, this code. So I'll take this code and I'll say, okay, in next cell, you do one thing. So we'll say, okay, we have some command in DBFS basically, which is called dbutils file system and copy. So we are saying that to copy this stuff into this. So we have declared the variables and we have the path of volume, we have the file name as well. Okay, so we want, let's say, if I make this file, for example, this one, if I change this better, because we have rows .csv already, so that's why I'm changing it here. And then I will fire this one, so it will have updated variables. Okay, so what I'm saying is from this download URL, you put a file or copy this. So this is like source. When we are performing the copy command here, this is like source we are saying before the comma, and this is like destination. Okay, so this is formatting of the string with the along with the variable. So to fetch in, to bring in the variable here, you have to have double quote and the curly braces, and here you can, use this quotation. So it will use this variable from this, this cell and put it here. So like this, it will create a file name. So let's run now. Actual, it will copy this. So it will use the compute power which we are using here. Okay, so true means basically it was able to create the file. Now we can check it here. So if I maybe refresh data frame, okay, I will go here, default one. And if I go to volume one, see, now I am able to view that I was able to bring in the data from that one, and that is the table name. Oh, I have given is the rows one.csv, because I have already bring in one, so I could delete it, but it's okay. I could, change the name. So this is how we'll bring. And now what we can do is we have bring in the data in CSV file. Now we can play around with this data, means we can use the data frame from the Apache Spark and PySpark, we can say, and we can use this data. So before that, like what we are doing is that we can create a data frame itself from the blank one. So the blank one also we can use. So this one I will just keep it aside. And what I will do is I will copy one more cell here, or bring in one more cell and paste some code. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm preparing a array of data. So this is like JSON, you can say. In JSON or the Python, basically, not JSON, sorry. It's a similar, thing. So the Python is also having the same thing. So yeah, we are creating a array of data, and so it's like one row having 2021 test, these like columns, and we are defining the columns here in Python, that okay, we want to create one year, first name, country, sex, and count. Okay, and here what we are doing is whatever the data frame name we would like to keep, we are keeping the name here. So df1, we are keeping the name of data frame. It's not like fixed one. You can put any abc, xyz, whatever you like. You can put the name, and then you can say that spark dot create data frame. So this command will basically create a frame of data. So data frame is basically frame of data, or set of data, you can say. So this is what it's going to create, and what you want to bring in. So first parameter is the data, what exact the data you would like to bring in. What is going to be the schema of this? So we are defining the schema, that year column is going to be integer, first name is going to be string, country is going to be string, and like others string, and int. So this is what we are defining here, that this is going to be the schema of our data frame. Okay, and then there is one command called display and df. So if we are going without display, it's going to give us, very basic one. So what I will do is I will change it here, maybe hit enter, and I will say df1. Okay, so it's going to give us the data frame one, but it will be the row. Yeah, I think yeah, I think it should work. Let's try it. If it is, I'm not sure, because df1 show work in that way. So I'll just comment it out, maybe just to test. Okay, so let's run this, and we can run it multiple times. So here it will show the result like this way, that what structure you have here, but it will not fetch in or bring in the data. So when I type this df1, it will bring me this data frame information. Okay, so let's remove this, and now what I will do is I will just try it. So yeah. Okay, so let's say if display command, before display, I just wanted to test another one. So let's bring in here. Okay, so df1 show command, we'll see how it shows. And I think I'll put here. Okay, why it's giving the error? Let's see. Let's try in case it will at least give some meaningful error. So sometime false alarm also it's giving. So now it will show you the structure of data as well as very basic primitive way of displaying it. So it's not formatted properly. We cannot use like a space and like this. So this is very basic one, df1 dot show. Okay. Next, another command is if we wrap this up around display. So just enter. So this command will show us nicely the data frame which we have taken. So let's say I run this, it will show me the data in nice formatted way. Okay, so this is the very common command, display data frame. Okay, this is like a method. All right, next is how we can load the data. So what we have done here is that we created a data set or data, and we put that data into a data frame. Okay, by using the create data frame command. Now we would like to see that how we can load the data from existing file. So basically we have file here, rows1.csv, and we would like to create a data frame out of it. This is what we are trying to do here. So let's say, for example, we want to do this. So I'll just minimize this cell. Okay. And I'll click on plus code. So another cell I'm going to add. And definitely I showed you that you can put the title, what you are doing in this cell, what you are doing in this cell. So you can keep putting the titles. So you can keep track of this, whatever you're doing. Okay, so for that, what we'll do is we can simply, I have some code, so I will paste it here. Okay, so this time I'm saying that, okay, data frame underscore CSV. So create a data frame with this name and spark.read CSV. I'm saying that, okay, you read this CSV file from this path, which we have already put in the first, cell. So the same variable we can use, and from this path, you use this, and it will have a header basically, and it will use the same schema which is being used in the CSV file with the separator comma, and then you display this data frame in the CSV or this data frame with the display command you show. So you run this. Okay, so it will fetch all the data which are available in that CSV. I think there is huge amount of data, looks like 10,000 plus rows. See, so this many or the data is taken into the data frame. Data frame is like memory data into the memory, and as we know that Spark run in memory processing, so it's taking into the memory and processing it. All right, so any command or anything we are running on top of this is going to be in memory, this stuff. All right, so we can, for example, print the schema from here also. So let's see how we can print it. So I can minimize this cell and I can go and create one more cell. Okay, empty cell. So I can keep creating the cell. Maybe it will go, 10 pages. It's okay. So this is how basically the advantage of this, that we can have multiple cells, each cell is doing something. So basically we are segregating or, commands, or we are organizing the commands related to a particular, data set or data frame or something like this. So we may have multiple, notebooks. Each notebook is performing some sort of task, something related to some particular data, and we can keep all this organized in a folder structure. So next command we are going to talk that we have now two data frames. One is we created using the CSV file, right? And the second one we created using the data frame or creating the data frame ourselves. Okay. So we do have two commands here, and I'll just trigger it. So it will show me the schema of each one. And like here we have, different namings, except this column, all looks good. Okay. So what we can do is we can combine this data frame together. Okay. So how we can combine? We have one command, which is, let's say, create a new cell. So here in this next cell, we are going to combine this data or data frames, and I'll put this command here. So data frame is equal to going to be data frame 1 union with the CSV. Okay. And then we can display this data. Okay. So let's see if we can run this. So number of rows and all those things we have together now in this data frame. So dfs underscore CSV we have combined with the df1. So these both were different data frames, and these both are combined together. So column by column it is combined. So order of the column has to be the same, so it will combine properly. Okay. So this is all about the data frame we have and how we can use the data frame, how we can use the data frame maybe with the visualization, or even data which we are bringing in, we can have visualization added. So and then visualization make it powerful, because visualization we can use in the dashboard as well. So it is a huge advantage working with the Databricks. The data is from different sources we can combine, we can work them together. Maybe we will look into more data sources, then it will make more sense to you guys, because right now we are working with the CSV file, and this looks very primitive or small sort of data. But when we are working with the multiple type of sources, and then if we are dealing with the huge amount of data, in that case it will make more sense. But yes, to pilot test, you will have to work with the small set of data, because in development you will have a minimum resource, or whatever minimum resources available with the organization. They will not allocate you the huge amount of resources on non-production environment. They will just give you the basic one. So maybe if you are working with 100 or 50 rows, it's more than enough. Okay. Yeah, that's it about this data frame and this topic today. And maybe we'll discuss more detail about these things in next session. So at least you should be aware of the compute, catalog, and workspace. These three things are very important. Right. So when we so far we have having these classes. So in these classes we are trying to use the compute, that how we have configured the compute, how we have used this catalog part. So how the catalogs are organized. At least we can make this sense. So catalog is using the SQL warehouse. So catalog is running using this. Compute is having two sections, mainly the SQL warehouse and the compute powers. These both are working together. So compute is like computer which is running in the background for us. SQL is like SQL commands you can run with this warehouse. And yeah, catalog is like organization of your data and schemas and all those things. You may have multiple catalog. Catalog is providing you the feature to separate your data from maybe you have each catalog created for different client. So let's say if your company is dealing with the 10 clients, you can create the catalog for them and bring in their data into their relevant catalog. So at least you can configure the relevant permissions. So you may have multiple analysts working on huge set of clients, and you are using maybe the same environment, and you can separate it by the catalog and the permissions. So you can separate your data from each other. Here also in this shared one, maybe you can use shared data which is commonly available with each other, and you can use in that way. So I hope it's making more and more sense, because it should be at least clear about the notebook, key playground for us, which is combining compute power, SQL, everything together. All right, thank you, and see you tomorrow.